We know that Israel initially said it was, I think the first estimate was 2,200, then they said 2,000, and then they downgraded it to 1,200, and then it downgraded to 1139, and then they just kind of rounded it up to 1,200, and that has been the narrative. So I can't stand these factual inaccuracies, which upon which our genocide is predicated. I mean, these stories, these sensational stories of beheaded babies, of mass rape, um, and it's just, I mean, these are the things that manufactured popular consent for 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 the just wanton slaughter of Palestinians throughout Gaza, in a display of savagery that is, and sadism that is truly unprecedented in human history, as far as I understand.
Everything that Susan said is correct. And I think we don't know the number of Israelis who were killed by the Israelis, because, as we know, the Palestinians were bent on taking many of their captured Israelis back to Gaza. And then you want to remember, on top of all that, uh, it's consistent with international law for Hamas to try to break out of the concentration camp and to engage Israeli military forces in combat, which means they're going to kill some of them. So the fact that they killed Israeli soldiers is not a case of murder. Now, there were clearly Israeli civilians who were murdered. I'd be willing to bet in the final analysis, however, that Hamas did not murder many of those Israeli civilians. But be that as it may, whoever murdered those civilians, and in my mind, created a war crime, committed a war crime. But I think that most of the Israelis who were killed were either soldiers, who I think are legitimate targets, or they were civilians who were killed by the Israeli forces. I think you cannot underestimate how many Israelis were killed when all that firepower was brought to bear. And if you look at a lot of the pictures and you listen to what happened, it's quite clear that those Apache helicopters really wreaked havoc on everything that was down on the ground. And of course, that included Israeli civilians. So I think we have a pretty good sense of what happened. Now, is that reported in the Western media? As Susan was saying before, of course it isn't.